Welcome to today. Welcome. As we are all coming in, enjoy some vibes. Come on down. Hello. Hi, beauties. Welcome to today. I'm so thrilled to be with you. Today we're gonna get back. We're gonna get back to the heart of it. We're going to return to Art Island. It's a beautiful place that I'm going to introduce you to. You might want to grab a journal for this one if you are able to do some exercises, take some notes, just not necessarily of what I say, but of the downloads that you receive while we are sharing this space together for this time. So we are going to get comfy and do a yummy visualization. So go ahead and just find a comfortable seated position, feet preferably flat on the floor, and go ahead and just rest your eyes. If you're not able to fully close your eyes or something like that, that's totally okay. You'll just go into this space in your mind. So go ahead and just rest your eyes for this part and picture the ocean. Picture its vastness, the waves, the depth, the way the ocean extends even farther than the eyes can see. Get in touch with this hugeness, this infiniteness, how it seems to go on and on forever and ever. And we often think of the ocean as being the waves. But there's actually a zillion miles of depth below those waves, deep, deep below. There's an incredible amount of plant life and animal life and ecosystems and activity that's happening deep below the surface. We actually know so little about the ocean. That's how vast it is. Just get a sense of this vastness. And when you're ready, seeing if you can embody that vastness into your body, feeling yourself become one with the ocean. You might notice if you feel the sensation of movement as crashing waves, or if you feel that you're able to drop down into the stillness that's far below the surface. If thoughts are churning, they come up. It's totally normal. That's just the waves at the top, the waves at the surface. Feeling this vastness. Maybe taking some breaths that feel supportive here. For me, it's big, audible in breaths and out breaths. Just whatever that is for you is totally great. Picture a radial expansion where it starts at your heart and expands out in every direction, as big and as far as you can possibly hold. And notice the edges of this expansion. Notice that it has edges, that there's a limit that we feel to what we're able to hold, what we're able to embody, what we're able to be. This space that we allow ourselves to inhabit. And imagine just for a moment that you no longer apologize for taking up space, but instead you allowed yourself to expand to the fullest expression of you. Imagine you having made a shift, having truly embodied the fact that there's no difference between you and your creative heroes. They don't have any less challenges or more motivation or more talent. And imagine if you felt into the divine in you, the calling in you, the unfathomably deep oceans in you that have been assigned by a force greater than you to show up and make something, to show up and create. And that spark that first lit you up, that first called to you, maybe a moment comes to mind of when that was. If it does, that's wonderful. And you can hold that now. If not, don't worry. Thinking about that spark, because the most beautiful thing about creativity is that the more you use, the more you have. It doesn't mean constantly producing or being in constant bloom. It means being constantly engaged in the cycle of planting, watering, growing, harvesting. After you felt that initial spark, that initial jolt, you wanted to make something else. You wanted to create again. It probably wasn't even good, right? The first thing you made. It doesn't have to be good. The process just has to be fun, because then you're juiced. You want to do it again. You want to get a little better. You wanted to close the gap between what you made yesterday and what you see in your head. Then you kept making, kept sharing a little bit. People started resonating with what you were doing because it came from this place of generosity, of resonance, of fun. Everybody wanted in on that delicious energy. See yourself now as this ocean, as tapping into this infinitely deep well that you have to draw from. If you've felt yourself contracting a bit, invite yourself to radially expand outwards once again. Feel a light starting at your heart center and expanding out in all directions from your heart center. I'm going to let go of the vision of the ocean for the moment and hold that vision of light at our heart center. Taking a deep breath in, and on the out breath, expanding that light to fill your entire body, picturing your entire body glowing with brilliant, radiant, beautiful light. Expand. Taking another deep breath in, this time On the exhale, you will picture that light expanding out to fill the entire room that you're in. In, breathe out and expand. See that light coating the walls, outlining the windows, glowing through every speck of paint, everything that's in the room. Whether they're objects, people, whatever's here, it's all invited to be coated in this brilliant light of love. Now expand this light out to fill your entire home or the space that you're in. Expand. And expanding outward even further to let this light expand to fill the entire city that you're in. Now the state. Breathe out. Now the country. You can picture this as a map if it helps you, or as a crowd of people that goes on and on. And repeating in your mind some well wishes to all these people. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be free from suffering. May you find joy and meaning and growth. This resonance of compassion is one of the highest vibrating emotions, as is gratitude. I'm so thankful for, just finish that sentence, whatever comes up is just exactly right for this moment. Hold that brilliant glow. I'm so thankful for just whatever comes to mind. I'm so thankful for the last beautiful part of this visualization. Will call to mind a younger version of yourself, a younger version who had a shred of that spark to make things. Just let her materialize in front of you. However old she is, wherever she is, it's all exactly right for this exercise. Just picture her doing what she did. What did she like to make? What was attractive to her? What did she hang on to? What did she hoard? What did she collect? Now just take a moment to have an interaction with her. Whether this is a conversation or her showing you something, maybe you asking her a question. Just whatever comes up first is exactly perfect for this container. Go ahead and have an interaction with her for the next couple minutes. Silence. Go ahead and close out this interaction with this younger version of you, however feels best to you. Maybe it's you wrapping her up in a hug and reassuring her that you're going to take care of this creative spark, that you're going to nurture it, that you're going to continue with her enthusiasm. Taking a moment while your eyes are still closed to come back to the present moment, maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. When you're ready, opening your eyes. Take some time, whether it's now or later today, to write down some nuggets of wisdom that you gleaned, epiphanies, or just some noticing about what was hard, what was delightful. Was it hard to expand, to feel like you were as big as the ocean? Was it hard to reconnect with that younger version of yourself? How did it feel? Did it feel good? If you don't have pen and paper handy, you can feel free to just put in the chat anything that you'd like to share. I'm going to give you a couple minutes right here. Okay. This is so delicious. It's so delicious. And that's what I want you to really step into and be able to give yourself the gift of, just for the next few minutes, is this space where you get back to that Spark where you get back to the realization that when you were little and you were creating stuff, you weren't worried at all about what other people were going to think of it, or how it would be received, or how you were possibly going to top your last idea, or anything other than the fun and joy of the process, anything other than the collaborative dance of inspiration, creativity, God, the divine flowing through you to make something cool. A plug doesn't worry about the electricity. A plug does not wake up and be like, oh my goodness, how I don't feel confident. How can I do this today? A plug is like, that's not my job. My job is to be a channel for the electricity. My job is to be open so that that energy, that jolt can be made manifest through me so that the light can illuminate this room. That's my job. Our job is to be the ocean, deep and wide and vast and humongous, so that other people can rise and have the invitation to rise to our energy level, which doesn't mean that you're the loudest person in the room or the most prominent person in the room even. Like, have you ever been in a room with a baby? Babies command the energy in a room, no matter what they're doing, right? If they're just sitting there, everybody immediately goes over to the baby and wants to talk to the baby, wants to be in the baby's atmosphere, wants to make the baby smile. If a baby's crying, it is so hard to do anything else, to concentrate on anything else, to have any other energy going on besides just how do we help this baby, right? It's so hard to counteract that. Babies set the vibration in a room. Gemma does this too. She's just pure consciousness. She's just so present. She walks up to people that I don't even notice, that I think look like people she should not be approaching. She approaches them. She just says, "What's your name? Do you have any pets?" Without fail, they open. They soften. They show up for her differently than the mask and the hard edge that's against the rest of the world. They always respond. I'm always shocked by their kindness, their openness. This is available to each of us to be the energetic temperature setter. And when you are that, don't be surprised when things just start happening for you. When people start asking you, oh my goodness, what's going on? When people start giving you opportunities, when people just want to be around you, when people just want to have an experience with you, they just want to be in your atmosphere, in your vibe. This is what we give people through our art. But we can't give it to them unless we are equally as in touch with this service aspect, with this energetic giving aspect, as we are with this energetic channeling aspect that I'm depicting via this visioning of your past self. We spent a lot of time in our time together visioning your future self. But this past self, this pure consciousness version of you, this younger version of you, who was just making without question, making without thinking about the making, she has so much to teach us. And when we're in touch with that aspect of her that says, I just like what I like and I make what I make, then we can really explore this question, which I would love for you to write this down. If I couldn't show anybody and I could not share anything I make, couldn't show anybody anything I make, what would I make? If I could not show anyone what I make, what would I make? 1 more minute to respond there. This can be a list of things. It can be one thing. It can be 5 million. It doesn't, whatever comes up is perfect. You might see some through lines. You might have complete alignment. You might have a few places of crossover. You might be totally shocked with what comes up here. And it's not to say that you have to rush out and do something about the answers that have come up, but just that you don't reject the knowing of them and that you do something with the knowing. Because we've been talking a lot about energy and high vibes, how setting the energetic tone is really such a gift and an invitation for all your people, and that's what people really want when they're interacting with you, whether it's in an art setting or a business setting or both. But then the question becomes, well, how do I raise my vibe? How do I become that person? How do I set the energetic tone? Well, great news. We've been doing all of it. It's gratitude, it's meditation, it's visualization. But in this context, it's alignment. Because when you're aligned, and by alignment, I mean finding deep purpose and meaning in what you're doing. That's what I mean by alignment. When you have that alignment, you sail through. You take massive action. You're doing all of the things, but you're not doing it from a frantic place or from an obligation place. You're doing it from an alignment place. And then you don't have to generate motivation and enthusiasm because you're already so full of motivation and enthusiasm because you're lit up by that purpose and that meaning. So that purpose and meaning can come from several places. One of those places is that question of, if you couldn't share this with anyone, what would you make? That's an intrinsic motivation, an intrinsic enthusiasm, attraction, curiosity that you have towards something. But then all of us have this need for contribution, this need to not just sit in a room by ourselves and make things that we can never show anyone, but to also make an impact, be of service, do something that somehow betters someone else's life, that somehow impacts them. And we know pieces of that, right? And that's going to look different for every single one of us, and it's going to look different in many stages of our lives. We've been talking so much about this contribution, this service piece, that I want you to start bringing in this other piece of that the only sustainable art is selfish. That we need to be selfish in our creations and generous in our sharing. So bringing these together, melding these worlds is what we're trying to do here. One. One.
Or hula bulu, milk drop, sizzled, snicker cleek.
What? What just happened? Say the actual thing that I wrote to you. Look at it one more time, friend.
Oh my gosh.
This art performance just went awry. I love it so much. Okay.
I thought it said make up words. Okay,
Oh.
starting over.
One.
Made up worlds.
Two.
Slobbery kisses.
Three.
Sleep deprivation.
Four.
Light and tangled hair.
Five.
Dinners nobody eats.
These are the things. These are the things that we're wrapping art around, that we're wrapping experience around, that we're wrapping an energetic exchange around. You feel? Who's picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, I would love to hear from you. What's coming up for you as we think about this idea of returning to Art Island, as we are crossing that ocean, returning to that island of your younger self where you were just making for the fun of it? What shreds of that past experience, of that past self, do you think it's time to bring back? Go ahead and just unmute. And it's okay if you're still processing. Anything surprise you that came up?
I've just been thinking about this idea of it not being this linear journey, but it just being this very non-linear thing. We've talked, like you very specifically said, traveling in time forward and backward in our own selves, but then even outside of that, the way that we experience that with other people, and I don't know, it just kind of has like a dream-like quality to it, in the fact that it's not I don't know what the better word is than just saying non-linear.
Yeah, 100%. I love that so much. And that we can filter all the practical, all the tactical that I'm sharing with you all across these weeks through the lens of your own journey, through the lens of maybe you don't even want it to be linear. Maybe you want to just throw out this project on this day. Maybe you want to throw out this idea on that day. It's your world. So great. Thank you for sharing.
And just that it's like outside of dimensions that we can encounter and interact with as well.
Yeah, it is. That's why this energy stuff is so fun to me. Because it's like the second that you meet someone, even within milliseconds, like we've picked up their energy, we've picked up their vibe, we understand it. Our entire physiology responds to it, right? And that all of that, like the idea that, the world is like 99% energy and 1% matter, and how they're actually proving that scientifically now. I mean, we can go down the rabbit holes. I love this all day. I will. But for our purposes, we're thinking about harnessing that energy, that knowing, to create something that's going to be of use to us, creating something that's going to be interesting to us, but then that's also going to be impactful and interesting for others. So thank you. I want to dig it deep into that one. Think about that rabbit hole for a while. Anything else that came up that you want to share? So we're going to open it for feedback and questions, and if you have galleries that you would like some feedback on or something you're working on that you would like some help with, we're going to open it up for that in just a second. But whenever you need, whenever you're feeling stale, bored, stressed, any of those low vibe feelings, you can return and bring this meditation back into your mind's eye. Have some visualization where you're expanding to the ocean, and then picturing yourself rowing out, flying out, transporting yourself however you would like to Art Island, where you're reconnecting with that spark that just loves to make things for the sake of making things, that just wants to collaborate with the forces that are bigger than you. And what I want to leave you with in this section is that because you are here in this container, hearing my voice, you have been divinely assigned. The call that you feel, the desires that you feel, those don't come from you. Those are an assignment from a source, a place, a force higher than you. And so who are we to argue with them? Once I have a desire, I know, okay, this is my assignment. I've been assigned. I'm going to step forward. I'm going to call myself into this way of being now because I have this desire. Our desires are the map to our growth. If we ignore and tamp down these desires, we lose not only the chance to grow and become our higher selves, but also we lose the impact that we will make in pursuit of those desires. Amen. All right. Who's got a question? Who's got some images that they would like to share? Who has a problem that they would like to bring up and the collective can help? How are y'all feeling generally? We have just a few more calls together. Okay, still don't have anything lined up for Saturday, so just doing everything I can to get someone there. Okay, let's talk through it. Michelle, what you doing?
Yeah, so this is like the studio that I booked a while back. So yeah, yesterday I like reached out to a bunch of people personally to see if they would be interested and offered them like a discount. And so yeah, just waiting to hear back from some of them still, but
okay.
Yeah, so, and I had been posting about it and reaching out to people like leading up to now too. So, but now it's like feels more urgent because it's only a few days away, and like if I'm not gonna get people there on Saturday, I need to like figure out something else to do at the studio instead. So I'm not just wasting that reservation.
Okay. Well, number one, I feel like you already know what you should do at the studio if you don't get anybody there. Self-portraits. Like, is that
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it just doesn't feel like, yeah, like because since I'm paying for the studio, I don't know, it doesn't feel like worth it to like use it for that. But I guess that could be
okay?
a good option.
What's the refund policy on the studio?
I've already had to reschedule it once, and so you can't get a refund, but you can like reschedule for a
Okay.
different time.
Okay.
But because I've already rescheduled once, I kind of feel bad like asking to reschedule again.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like I should keep this reservation like for the day that I have it.
Okay. Um, all right. So there's a few different thoughts that I have here. Number one is you're not asking to reschedule because you feel bad, and that is totally valid. But there's a scenario in which you tell her, whoever the booking person is, and say like, "Hey, have you had any interest for Saturday? Have you had to turn people away?" Or here's my situation, like I I can use it for a different project, but I would really prefer to reschedule. Is there any way that I could reschedule? And how does that affect you? Like, I want to be really conscious of what your situation is. Like, it doesn't just have to be either
Right.
or. Like, either
Yeah.
you go ahead with it and you're feeling bad, or you reschedule and she's feeling bad. Like, there's so many points in between where you can just be open with her and see if there's a mutually beneficial solution there. So, based on how you're feeling right now, Michelle, and I want you to watch this back and watch how you just were when you were talking about it. Just to see, like, this is
Yeah.
where you are, and that's great. But like, because this is where you're at energetically, you're not feeling super great about this, then I would try to reschedule so that you can give yourself a longer runway. And like, this happens to everyone, by the way. I want you to be so proud of yourself, Michelle, number one, that you went after this and that you did it. Yeah, it feels good to see you. Thank you for letting us see you. Yeah, so I'm gonna make assumptions that you're having some thoughts like, I'm not good enough, this is a failure, should I even be continuing to pursue these types of sessions, etc. Am I right on that? Just give me a head nod if so.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of like lost, I think, as to like what to do next. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thought is maybe like, I've tried everything. I tried so hard and it didn't work out. Maybe that's the thought that's there.
yeah, I think a little bit of that, and then also like I know there's probably like other things I could have tried, or like maybe I didn't do enough. Like I could have done more, and like maybe I didn't because I was like either afraid or just like didn't have the time. I don't know. So
Yeah.
like I don't feel like I feel like there's more I could have done too, maybe. And so
Yeah.
like in part it could be like my fault too. And
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. So if there's a way to reschedule, I do think that's the best way to go about it. And when you do reschedule, then you're going to know that so many things have happened in your favor by doing this. Like, I see so much growth in you, Michelle. Like, I see, and people are chiming in that they want to hug you and with support. And there's so much support here for you because you doing everything that you did to make this happen was you taking a bigger risk than I think you ever have. And every risk is rewarded. So this risk this time right now you don't feel like there's a reward. You're like, I didn't get nobody to book. What's happening? But the rewards that you have already is seeing how resilient you are, seeing how much you can handle, seeing how big you can grow and expand. And I've told you this before, and I'm going to tell you it one more time. I think, and this is like the tough love moment, I think the gap between where you are and where you want to be, the only thing stopping you from being where you want to be is a willingness to take those risks. And I'm talking in your imagery, and I'm talking in your business. So you feel like and maybe this is me projecting onto you, so I could be wrong about this, but I feel like you think you have taken so many risks. And I just want to be like, girl, you're just getting started. Like, this is just the beginning. And this is the life of an entrepreneur, and it's so delicious. So if you feel lost about what to try next, I'm here for you. We got you. If you can reschedule the studio and you can do a proper launch with everything that we outlined last week, with like all the lead up, all the teasing, put some things in place for people to talk and share about it when it's going live. And I'm happy to share about it as well. I'm sure others would love to support you in that too. Like maybe you're gonna do some things differently with the sessions themselves, but more than that, you're gonna be conscious of this aspect of being willing to take risks and go out on a limb. And I want you to count this as a win no matter what, because you did go out on a limb and you did take this risk. Worst comes to worst, you use this studio time on Saturday for the most bomb self-portraits that you've ever created, and it's the most blessing in disguise moment. Like, every risk is rewarded. So the worst case scenario to me here is you do some awesome self-portraits in the studio on Saturday. And I mean, it's up to you, but if it were me, I probably would be like, listen, I booked the studio, nobody booked it, I'm here doing self-portraits, I'm feeling great. Like, I would probably go there. I would probably share myself, but you can decide if that feels good to you or not. If that just feels like, oh my gosh, I can't possibly do that, that's one thing. But yeah, I'll leave it there. But count this as a huge win for your growth as an entrepreneur, as a person, because this is what it continues to be. I tell you what, like, this never ends. This like aspect of having to put things out, have them not go how you think, bounce back up, reconfigure, redecide. So the one other belief that I'm inviting you to challenge is that question of, I feel lost as to what to try next. Because there's a huge pile, bundle, infinite realm of possibilities of things to try next. And like, you know what you want to create, you know what you want to do. Success and failure are the same road. You just got to keep going down the road. I'm gonna tell you guys one quick story. I'm in a mastermind myself. I think I've told you guys this, with a woman so the mastermind is led by Susie Moore, and she's a best-selling author, and she's really great. One woman in the mastermind she was a dancer. She got hit by a bus in 2008. She thought she would never dance again. She has danced again. Now she's like teaching, coaching others. And she has been in this mastermind with me for almost 2 years now. And she's pitched like every media outlet. She's been doing stuff. She's just been like, she's been taking all the action, and nothing has happened for her. Like, no momentum, no yeses, no nothing, no sales. Like she has this like fledgling business that she had before that is like has not grown at all. And everybody else is like, oh, I got this win. Oh, I'm in this publication. Oh, I'm doing this and that and the other. She's had basically nothing. She just keeps posting. She just keeps asking stupid questions. I got a little annoyed with her. I was like, girl, like all this stuff is they've already outlined all these things. You don't need to keep asking all these questions. I was a little bit annoyed. Last week, she posts, hey, my documentary is available for pre-order on Amazon. It's in iTunes, it's in Amazon, it's Hulu. I'm in Dance Magazine. It's just insane momentum after almost 2 years of nothing. And of honestly me a little bit counting her out, being like, probably should just give it up. She is the one who had the vision. She is the one who knew that her documentary was going to get made and that it was going to get put on Amazon. What? Such a boss, such a baller. That is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about our divine assignment. Like she knew she'd been assigned. She was like, I got hit by this bus. Like ain't nobody going to get me down. Ain't no 2 years of like nothing going to stop me, going to slow me down. No. I'm going to keep asking all the questions in the Slack. I'm going to keep pitching and pitching and pitching and pitching, no matter how many times I get told no. So, success and failure are the same road. Success is just further down the road. Michelle, I have zero doubts in my mind that anything you desire is coming to you. It's just a question of, number one, the timing. That's whatever. That's not in our control all the time. Number two, how willing you are to risk and show up. We are here for you. We're supporting you. Let us know what she says. If you need help wording that email, we're here for you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else have something they'd like to bring? Big thank you to Michelle, too, for being willing to share.
Well, Michelle, I want to let you know, I feel like I'm in a similar place, and I feel like, I don't know, there was one Ian Palmer class I took where she talked about her daughter singing in a high school performance or something. And she was like, I was so nervous for her. And the way that she was like on stage, she was like closing her eyes and swaying. And like, she's like, even as a mom, I was like, oh my God, is she going to do this? Like, is this going to be okay? And I feel like I'm in that moment where I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm just standing in front of people and feeling super awkward. And so anyway, I just want to echo that, like, where even like her mother, who loves her so much, was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But she was like, she was so beautiful. And that's the thing. It's like, it takes that sometimes to get that out of you. Like, it's very sensitive. It can be very like delicate. And so I don't know. Anyway, I don't really have anything, just that that's a process. That's part of the process. And sometimes we feel worried about how we look or how we are in front of other people. And hopefully that doesn't hold us back from doing what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Liz. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, Erica was saying that you're not alone. Just drowning motherhood, wanting her purpose to be more than that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are inspiring each other. And I was also thinking about just my career and like starting my business like 10 plus years ago now. And and how many twists and turns and like times that I didn't even know what was going on and didn't know how I was going to do it with all my kids and didn't like didn't feel like I had any momentum, didn't feel like I had anything happening for me. I've put out mini sessions where nobody booked multiple times. Yeah, for sure. I've done webinars where nobody bought. I've Like, yeah. So it's a winding turn, and I'm so grateful that I didn't get instant success. I'm so grateful that it wasn't like, oh, I've been doing this for a year and now I'm fully booked and I have everything I could ever want, because that would have robbed me of all of the growth. Now, is it that way sometimes? And is it that way, like, do you go from 0 to 100? Yeah. And that's a possibility too. But also just like taking a pause to count the wins as they really are, and not just in the results category, but in the growth and the capacity category. Okay. All right. I think we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you all so much for going back to Art Island with me and reconnecting with that piece of you that just loves to make stuff however she wants to show up these days, in your business, in your interactions with people, in your hobbies, whatever. Please give her a voice. Please love her to life and let her love you back to life. Okay, see you guys next week. Bye.